Hi, I'm EDDE Wagner, and you are listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast.
Evening all, it's your old pal Ian Taylor here, and you're listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast with my co-host Norrin Rad. That's him, stood over by the bar polishing that silver watch that he carries around and talks to. I remember when we was wee nippers, how we used to run around, show each other the latest trading cards all the way from that there America, and how we'd laugh with Alfie Noakes, knock Geraldine's cards into the muddy puddle outside the chemist shop on the market. Good times they was. I remember the time when we first pulled a Fenwick. Never knew such a thing could happen to us, and yet here we are, blessed, each and every one of us, to live in the age of Fenwick and bask in the incomparable glory of his awesome collection. It gives me great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, and assorted non-binaries, therefore, to welcome our guest for this week on this here radio thingamabob. You'll know him from many a throwdown past the baton sketch flex. It's none other than Jeffrey Fenwick, all the way from that there America.
That's me.
Two things. One, that was great. Two, how many glasses of wine did you have before we got on the air?
Only a half. Only a half.
Okay.
Only a half.
That was good, though. I mean, that was the longest intro yet. And well sustained.
I went method.
You did. No, you went all the way in. It was good. I liked
Very
it.
good.
We'll have to think of a name for that character.
Yes. I got nothing.
Old school London intro bloke. Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Totally connects with the American audience.
I remember that time when I was in Snatch. But
Oh
we
my
won't
God,
talk-
it's continuing.
We won't talk about that. Anyway, we have a guest. We have a guest. Jeff Fenwick. Jeffrey.
The legendary Jeff
Yes.
Fenwick. Okay.
Greetings, gentlemen.
Or as Norrin is frequently known to shout, Fenwick.
Yes, I've heard that.
It's true. It's actually really bad. So Ian and I were talking and we were like, let's just see if Fenwick will do it. Because we have talked about getting you on the show before. And we're like, let's just see if he'll go for it. I know he's more quiet. Maybe he won't do it. And I said Fenwick out loud to Ian on the show. My wife was passing by. She's like, wait, Fenwick, the better Silver Surfer collector than you? And I was like, burn.
Bad
Your
boy.
wife probably burned you, didn't she? Wow.
Yeah, no, it was really funny. I died. It was great because it was just so uncalled for and rude, but it was pretty funny. But I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Yeah, but I'm so glad you're here, man. You are,
Well, thank you for having me.
dude. This is gonna be so much fun, man. So crazy. So we all have to know, right? Because you're a little more of an elusive collector. You know what I mean?
Yes.
How did this start, my friend? Where did this come from? Tell us your origin story.
Well, I work in the trading card industry, I guess, on the retail side of things. I've been in it for over 30 years. So I've seen pretty much the card companies come and go. I mostly collected sports cards, but then around 2006, 2007, I got into Marvel Masterpieces Set 1, and then a lot of the Rittenhouse sets, and that kind of just, started the collection going. And for professional and business reasons, I found Scoundrel, the art form, and then that's where I kind of fell in love with doing commissions and that kind of thing. So I first started with like artist proofs and that type of thing. And then it just kind of became my obsession. So I've used to collect comic books pretty heavily for about 15 plus years. And then I did the cards, but they just all take up space. So I decided to kind of narrow my focus. And but now I have over 6,000 sketch cards. So it's
Oh my goodness.
takes up space too. So, but most of my other stuff's all in a storage unit, which I haven't seen in about 20 years. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I have like the Marvel, the 1990 Marvel Universe cards and
Of course.
1992 Marvel masterpieces and that kind of stuff. But yeah. And luckily through my work, I was able to get access to pretty much all the Rittenhouse sets. So I've opened at least a case of each one of them.
Wow.
And also the Upper Deck Marvel Masterpieces, 2007, 2008 sets. Those were my favorite. I love the sketch cards from them. Those to me were truly sketch cards. Now to me they're more art cards. It bugs me when it's a full painting and they call it a sketch card still. I have a little pet peeve about that, but
I love that. That is so great. I mean, Ian and I talk about that on the show all the time, and I'm kind of in the same school as you. Like, I look at sketch cards and just seeing like the thought process and the artistry and the creativity and the variety of them, especially like Marvel Masterpieces 07 and 08. It's just it's incomparable. It's just insane. Actually, it's funny. I think your collection was the first time, because I went to Scoundrel, but I was younger and I wasn't, I didn't have money to collecting cards and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I would just like see eBay because my dad would be on eBay buying like computer parts. So I would see cards and stuff and be like, drooling and all this stuff. But it wasn't until Sketch Collectors where I found you.
Oh, yes. That's my other favorite site.
Oh, man. I mean,
it's not really supported much anymore, but it's
a shame. It's a shame because it's a great site. And that site itself is archiving so many years of. I think everybody would be devastated if they couldn't have something like that. You know what I mean? To see, because that's how I understood sketch cards. That was my whole education was Sketch Collectors, But yeah, seeing the Marvel Masterpieces 07 and 08, I think your collection, it was the first time I really understood. Because most collectors, like Ian and I know, and I'm sure, most collectors keep that stuff under lock and key. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I struggled with that personally for some time, but then I decided just to go for it. So let it happen.
Well, thank you for doing so. Because
seriously, thank you.
It's so wonderful just to see the pieces being shared via the Pass the Baton hashtag on the group, and hats off to Rick Ortiz for starting that off. I'm always going to give him name credit for that because
he's a rock star.
He did, he started it off and it was brilliant. But
I love his stuff. He has a good collection.
He has an incredible collection. Yeah.
Great eye.
Yeah.
Great eye.
And you can hear us talk to Rick Ortiz on episode insert advert here. I'll go back and edit that in. I'll find a number. I can never remember the numbers that we have. But anyway, because I think so many people don't choose to share it because they don't want one of the reasons I think is that they don't want people hounding them to say, I really want that. You shared
like the annoying Silver Surfer guy we all know. I know.
Yes.
Or that bastard. I know.
I rejected Norrin multiple times, but then I gave in.
I loved you.
And then he invited me to join your Facebook groups and such. So.
Oh my God, is that how it happened?
Yes, it was.
Oh, wow. So you're to blame, Norrin. You're to blame. I figured it out. You're to blame for most things, Norrin. Indirectly, everything leads back to you. If you draw a Venn diagram of card collecting, somewhere there's you are crossing over with everyone else.
No, not at all. Not at all. No. Yeah, I mean, oh man, poor Fenwick. I feel terrible. But yeah, Rick started that, and then you jumped right in there. And then I think between you and Fuller, we'll never run out of cards to look at.
Oh, no. Yes, I know he beats me big time.
I don't think so. I think you guys have to be neck and neck. I mean, I don't know anybody. Maybe like
Andy
one
Kerr.
or two.
Andy Kerr's got a pretty good
Andy
collection.
Kerr. Now that guy is next. Yeah. That's
and he's got an awesome amount. I was going to say, is it all Marvel, Jeff, or do you dabble elsewhere?
No, it's primarily Marvel. I'm also I like DC Comics as well. But I also have a small amount of other properties: Indiana Jones, Star Trek. A few other sets, mostly artists that I enjoyed. So But my primary emphasis is the two major comic book companies, the Marvel and DC Comics. When I was a kid, I loved comic books, but I'm kind of a global thing. I like the whole kind of pantheon of stuff. So when I was buying comics, I bought Dark Horse and Valiant and Image, and I just didn't concentrate on one type of thing. And the same thing when I collected sports, I kind of did it all. I have soccer cards and football and hockey and Olympic stuff and auto racing. It's like the whole thing. So
Wow.
So then when I got into the sketch cards, I kind of it didn't really matter to me. If it caught my eye, I collected it. So, but because we're a Marvel group here, I mostly share my marbles, obviously.
Well, you're a true collector, right? You do not discriminate. You know what I mean? Like, you really do. It's it's amazing how you've been able to build it.
Yeah, I'm one where I like to collect for collecting reasons, not necessarily for money. When I first started working in card shops, back in the day, there were already people obsessed with money and the value of stuff. But I was just more into liking the athlete or liking the comic book or whatnot. So when I came to the sketch cards, I didn't necessarily just go for all the high end stuff. It was more the better for me. So, like, for instance, I like Mark Spears or Mark Dos Santos' work. And at the time, no one really cared about them. So I was able just to pick up a bunch of their stuff, so,
wow,
which makes me happy compared to only having all NARS or, high-end type dudes, I don't mind having them either, don't get me wrong. But I just have. Yeah.
And you had great
pieces I was lucky to come across, but so I just like collecting. I don't know how to put it anyway.
I love that. Well, I mean, that's phenomenal, man. I mean, I just think that's great. I love what you've done with your collection. I love the time you spent on it. And so I guess one of the biggest questions I would have, you've always been into this. You're one of those guys, one of those people who collects. You know what I mean? You get into something, you collect it, you enjoy it, and you collect based off of your eye, not necessarily a price tag, right? Yeah. And I think what you've done over the years is really kept a really lovely history of everything. You know what I mean? From artists to the types of sketch cards and a beautiful range. So let's do this. And you don't have to say anything at all, obviously. I'm not trying to get in your head.
Well, he needs to say something. We're a podcast.
Of course.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. He doesn't have to say anything too revealing. When you look at a sketch card, like, what are the top 3 things that kind of get you like, I love this. This is great. I'm so happy this attribute, this feature is here.
That's a good question. Well, I don't know how to answer that, to be honest.
It's a pretty specific question. I feel terrible.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy art in general. And I like this creativity. So if there's something about the piece that catches my eye and that meets those check marks, then I pick it up. I struggled at times where would I only be a character collector. So in the beginning, like, I liked Storm, for instance. So I only bought like Storm sketch cards. I got kind of in the concept of trying to do master sets for a while. And I admit there are certain artists that I kind of don't like their work. So I kind of stopped doing that. But I regret that now because now trying to go back and redo them, it's just almost impossible. So one of the sets I started on that was the X-Men Archives. And I started and then I kind of abandoned that project. And I wish to, restart that. But just finding the pieces is just impossible sometimes. And obviously doing the 2007 Marvel Masterpieces of 2008, there's some artists only produced 1 or 2 pieces or 4 pieces, it's just almost impossible. So, but then later on, I decided to go the Fantastic Four Archives is the only Marvel set that I completed. And actually with your help, Norm.
That's right. That's right.
That's how I traded the card that you had wanted to.
Yes. So poor Fenwick. It wasn't for a lack of trying. Fenwick tried to deny me multiple times. And I can only say this now because poor guy, I tortured him. So I got really lucky actually with that whole trade. So, oh God, I don't want this to be a whole thing of how I was an annoying prick, but like, you know, I had talked to Fenwick for a long time, and it was just a coincidence. It really worked out beautifully because I had met someone who kind of collects like you, and it's actually Letty, Kevin Letty.
Yes.
Kevin,
is he cards?
Yes, I eat cards,
Okay.
right? Who's like a friend of ours, and you know him, and he's a great guy, amazing collection, super sweet. And I had been wanting this card out of Fenwick's collection for long time. It's actually one of my favorite cards. It's Frankie Ray Nova from FFA. And, you know, Banks did a bunch of cards, and normally, like, I like Banks, but it wasn't like I didn't like was drawn to Banks. But I feel like, in my opinion, this is the best Nova I've ever seen in my life.
Chow, is it not?
Say that again?
Watkins Chow?
Chow. I don't know why I said Banks. I meant Chow.
Yeah, not Daryl Banks.
No. I said Chow like an idiot. Nervous. Right. So, right. I got all nervous. So, yeah. So what happened was I just happened to ask Letty, and Fenwick, you know, Jeff was like, I'm missing this card. And I was like, okay. I don't think he had any hope for me to uncover it as fast as I did. But luckily Letty had two, and he was like, yeah, here you go. I was like, okay. So it just happened to work out. But yeah, it was super lucky. It was super lucky. Because like Jeff doesn't give up cards at all.
So let me backtrack a bit. For those who might not know, when you say completed Fantastic Four archives, what do you mean from a sketch point of view?
Only the sketch cards. I attempted to get at least one of each of the packed out artists.
Gotcha.
And then I also have been lucky enough to acquire some of that set had some ultra rare, what they call the black and white sketches, although one of them I have is colored. I was actually able to pull one of them, which was pretty exciting.
Whoa.
Yeah, most of the time when I opened the Rittenhouse, I did what people did where they stopped when they got the sketch, so they have a bunch of unopened packs. But I had hundreds of them laying around, and then one day I decided just to bust them all, and it ended up I had pulled one, or I had one of that horde. Yeah, so I finally acquired at least one of each of the artists from that. And the only other set I have in that regard is the DC Legacy. That's actually my favorite of all sets. So I have at least one of the artists from that product as well.
Super underrated.
Yeah,
super underrated.
But I realize this is a Marvel deal, so.
That's why you can carry on talking about it. I've got no idea what you're talking about, but you can carry on talking about it.
Yeah, it's a Rittenhouse set from about 2007, 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Rittenhouse products. So pretty much any of the Marvel or DC products that had sketch cards in them. I like that where it was one a box and a reasonably price point. I have kind of issues with today's boxes and how expensive they are, and to me, the quality of the artwork is pretty much the same, but then people are valuing the pieces at hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which I kind of I don't really get, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I have the same opinion, and I think it's mostly. I really do believe this, and I know this is gonna piss off old school people, but I think it's because a lot of sketch cards from those sets, like MMO7 or the Rittenhouse stuff, you know what I mean? It's kept so locked up that no one knows who those artists are. People don't even realize now that comic book legends, people who've invented characters that exist now as first appearance characters, you know what I mean, have worked on sketch cards. People just don't know. Well, it's amazing.
For me, I've only really got maybe one artist that would fulfill that criteria, and that's Mark Texeira. I'm lucky enough to own two Black Cats by him, but he, for me, he's up there because when I was properly getting into Marvel in the early 90s, of course, Ghost Rider.
Yep.
He was doing it, and for me, the fact that I own a couple of Black Cats by him is absolutely amazing. But yeah, I mean, you do get those absolute legends, obviously in the late 90s sets. That's a whole different realm of legends. But Masterpieces '07. Of course, you had people doing work on that. You had some of the early Rittenhouse sets had some incredible.
It's a wonderful
artists,
range of artists,
a lot of which aren't with us anymore. Certainly not a lot of the old school guys. I always speak quite highly of an artist whose work I didn't know as well at Marvel until I discovered his work in trading cards, and then I realised he passed away not long after the set that I know, and that's Dave Simons.
Yes,
and his Women of Marvel stuff is amazing, and unfortunately he passed away not long after that. But he was kind of a big part of the Marvel team in the 80s and 90s. So there's a lot of artists of that era who worked on sketch cards as well, and people just don't know or don't appreciate it. It's fascinating. Which reminds me, after we've finished recording, because it'll be for your ears only for now, Jeff, we'll tell you who's on episode 100. Put a pin in that.
Baby.
Remind me.
You're
we'll come back to that. Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Yes. Yeah. You will appreciate that. So let me back up a sec. So you've worked for card stores, or do you own one, or do you work in one?
No, I primarily worked for them.
Oh, okay.
In about 1980, in my freshman year of high school, there were already comic book stores in the area. So about for like 84 on, I would hang out in those stores. And then when a baseball card shop opened up, and the owner there was a hardcore collector of baseball cards, and he introduced me to all of the vintage from 1951 kind of through. He would bring in a set of every week and let me go through them, and so I learned all about baseball cards mostly in those early years. And then once I graduated high school, I just started working in card shops. I also had experience with selling collectible card games, comic books, other types of collectibles. And I've pretty much done everything you could, I've opened this bazillions of packs. I've sorted God knows how many cards, scanned a billion cards, done eBay auctions, Amazon listings, Beckett Marketplace listings. I've pretty much done it all. In the last years, I even had a staff of people that I had to delegate work to and that type of thing. But I recently left that place, or my last employer, and I was going to take about a year off, but then the pandemic hit. So currently I'm unemployed, but but I do an odd, eBay type auction and that type of thing here and there. But and I also did like the show circuit. So I exhibited at the National, which is the largest sports card convention in the States. I've also exhibited at the San Diego Comic-Con back in the day. I also went to that many years as a collector, which I remembered it as being a comic book convention, and now it's more of a pop culture event.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously. Yeah. I mean, it's like Mecca.
One year that I exhibited there was insane when they would open the doors and people would be sprinting to XYZ line, to wait for something. But, But,
any good card finds at that one?
No, that was mostly in the 90s.
90s.
Yeah. And then I also, the shows were a lot of fun. I also exhibited one time at the Super Bowl. The NFL had like a whole experience for fans, and then part of that was a card show. So one year, when the Super Bowl was in Phoenix, Arizona, I exhibited at that as well. That was a fun time.
That's really cool.
But in the last years, it's mostly about inventorying product and e-commerce.
Yeah.
So, and then, I've seen the rise of eBay and the rise and fall of different card companies, Fleer and whatnot, and Pacific and
Inkworks.
Yeah. And yes. And then different employers I worked for were into non-sports. Some weren't into non-sports. So my primary emphasis was been sports, but because of my love of comics as a kid, and I also like art. So that's why sketch cards is like this perfect synergy for me. It's art, it's trading cards, so it all works for me.
Wow, you probably drive in both lanes then, don't you? Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a beast.
Okay.
And I also I don't play the games, but I've had experience with, Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And that kind of stuff. And yeah, those kind of drove me crazy, but yeah. But I'm pretty much about sports and non-sports. So
Wow. It's crazy because Marvel card collectors really are that subgroup of card collectors where it really is about the artwork. You know what I mean? So many, I imagine this and I've seen, more about sports side than I do, but it's definitely following stats, seeing the ingenuity of the cards and the beauty of the card. There is an appreciation for that. But once you get to the comic art, collection of cards type of thing, you really are just all of us are very much art connoisseurs. You know what I mean? We have a very specific type of idea of what we're looking at and what we like and stuff like that. It's always been really interesting to me. And sketch cards for me has always been, like you said, that is the best thing you can possibly get for someone who's into art, right? Is a one-of-one original piece. I mean, you can't top that feeling, being that close to the work itself.
agreed. Yeah. Except if you we're into Indiana Jones and they have a million skulls or whatever, they just keep drawing the same thing hundreds of times.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, I heard that there's something like that in Lord of the Rings too, right?
Oh yes, Lord of the Rings.
Up until last year, I had about 6 Lord of the Rings sketch cards that I wasn't able to move for love nor money for the longest time, and I couldn't figure out why. And then they're really rudimentary. And then I think Matt Fuller might have said, "Oh yeah, that one was done repeated about 200 times or something like that." It's okay. And I think it was.
He has an insane collection on the Lord of the Rings.
He does. He does.
Yeah, he's the Lord of the Rings dude, from what I hear.
Well, we put. I found the post on Scoundrel where he got the scene from the movie.
Yeah, he recreated,
framed it, and storyboarded the movie with sketch cards. Yeah. And there's a post on Scoundrel that are just not Scoundrel, Blowout, that goes on for you're scrolling for seriously, you'd be able to watch the movie in the time it takes you to scroll through the post. And it's the most phenomenal thing. And I think when we spoke to him, he said he'd done it for the Fellowship and Two Towers. I don't think he did it for Return of the King. I think he might have run out of steam and or money before the end of that. But my goodness me. So have you ever... I know sketch is your thing, but you mentioned that you'd open so much product. Do you actually collect the sets as well, or do you are they a means to an end for you?
They're more of the means of the end. A lot of times, I actually pretty much just gave it to the business that I worked for at the time.
Right.
So they let me get a case, basically their cost kind of a thing. So then as part of the price of that, I gave them pretty much all the product minus the sketch cards kind of a thing. So I don't have the sets or the insert sets, and I'm very familiar with them, obviously, because then I had the inventory and everything.
That's fine. I'll make a note to not then hit you up with a list of Rittenhouse wants.
No worries. Actually, I do have some, but they're once again in the storage unit. So
no, that's fine. This mythical storage unit. Oh my goodness me! Straight away, my mind goes to the warehouse at the end of Indiana Jones. As we often do.
I would not be surprised if it was close.
Jeff, can I ask you a question? I'm just something inkling in my head, and appreciating there's a lot of Jeffs in the world. But what was your user ID on Scoundrel?
It's RA4420.
Okay. Yes. Now that does ring a bell, but you're not.
No, I didn't use my name at that time.
Yeah. No. There was a guy on Scoundrel called Jeff, who at one point had he showed a photo in his garage, had case after case of opened Marvel Masterpieces 2008 Series 2, where he must have bought in hundreds of cases, and all of the stuff that wasn't sketch cards was just in this massive pile. And I found out I came across his eBay ID very recently. And saw he still had stuff listed. So if anyone needs Marvel Masterpieces 2008, he's your guy, because I can't imagine it'll have shifted it all by now.
He's spending years to offload what he's unpacked.
Well, the thing is, I've noticed that, interestingly, a lot of people are starting to get into 07.
As they should. It's a cool set.
Yes.
It's a good looking set.
Kind of a very delayed thing. Yeah, but 08 as well. People are like, right, okay, I want these, Marvel Knights inserts or whatever they are, or, the writer autographs is such an underappreciated part. And, you used to be able to throw a rock and you could hit them on eBay for pretty good amounts of money.
Indeed.
You can't get them anymore.
No.
It's dried up. So...
Yeah, but most of these things are going to dry up, as we all know. I mean, I guess the next question, the real difficult one. So, Jeff, I know I was bothering you, but all kidding aside, coming into the group and being part of the group, and I'm so glad you're here, man. In all seriousness, I know I bothered the hell out of you, but it was only out of admiration of your collection, obviously. Man, with as much as you've gotten, were you doing tons of trades? Were you just eBay hunting? Because It didn't seem like you were unfortunately,
all my acquisitions are box break and eBay purchases. And then I've never really been kind of a card trader person. I don't know why that is, or I've traded very rarely, but I really enjoyed though, interacting with the artists and commissioning works. Mm-hmm. So I also have a very large, the personal sketch card kind of thing. I have well over 1,000+ of them. And most of them I commissioned. So I really enjoyed that time. And those were a combination also of eBay and mostly Scoundrel type of, interactions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most of my acquisitions have been through case break and eBay purchases.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel that's the norm for
other than you guys or this group. I all my other friends are into other things, or if they're into trading cards, are purely about sports. So I'm kind of been on my own when it came to.
Welcome to the group, bro. Because all of us are on a desert island too, man. I don't know anybody in North Carolina who's collecting sketch cards.
And virtually no one in the UK.
Yeah, you're definitely alone.
But
say again,
they're
Jeff?
So rare to come. I can't replace things that I have. So it's I want what you have, but I can't really replace it again. So I'm pretty hesitant.
True.
Of moving things.
Yeah, sketch cards are not something you can. And they're so. The reason I ask is because there is, and I respect. There's a big portion of me that doesn't want to show all my Surfer sketch cards in one place, only because. It's not because I don't want to share them. It's weird that I get really paranoid, right? I don't want them copied. I don't want artists to look at that sketch card and make another sketch card of the same thing, because I've seen artists do that, which freaks me out. You know what I mean? I like the one-of-one uniqueness of it. Does that make sense? So
yes, I had that done to me one time, which I didn't.
Whoa, really?
Yes, I have that's a Daredevil artist proof where he's breaking through the stained glass window.
Oh.
And then a collector had another artist who actually even wasn't an official artist recreate that piece on a blank, and I didn't really care for that, but it is what it is,
Yeah. You gotta let it go at one point, but I know that Daredevil, that's one of the prettiest Daredevil sketches I've ever seen, hands down. So talking about characters, and I don't want to pigeonhole you, but what are some? I know you're a Surfer fan. You've never confirmed it, but you are a Surfer fan. I don't care what you say. I've seen your Surfers. I know you love that, and I know you have a couple of other characters that I see your collection. You're very particular. You know what I mean about which ones you build up.
It's kind of just an accumulative thing. Like I said, I like kind of all comics so it's if I can get a piece of XYZ character, but it just ends up that over time I have 100+ Wolverine cards or Storm, or it's not really done on purpose, to be honest.
That's crazy. Wow.
But the one character I did start with was Storm. I like that character, for instance. But then, like the Fantastic Four band, kind of that's what drew me also to get more of that product. And that makes them even more special to me since they're still banned in, from official cards. Which I hope ends soon. But
I hope so, man. I am fingers crossed. I know it's going to be a bloodbath when it happens. It's going to be rough.
And I also enjoyed the X-Men books as a kid, so that was, any kind of X-Men related characters were just all good with me. So that's my other favorite is the X-Men Archives product. I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, there's no I like only Black Cat or only like Spawn or whatever, Yeah. This happens to be I ended up getting a bunch of them. So for instance, when there's the daily thing, I can still I got Dazzler today, or I have Scorpion or whoever, whoever's picked, I pretty much have a card of them.
Love the variety, man.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you got me in mind of a Black Cat and Spawn crossover, which is just a dizzying prospect. Because as long as Todd McFarlane does the cover, I'm a happy man. Because there's a man who needs to draw more Black Cat. Jeff, I realise I'm lucky enough. Our first interaction was you purchased some cards off me, but it wasn't from MCCW. It was from a different group when I had a trim down of my Black Cats.
Yes.
It was on, I can even tell you where it was. It was on the 9th of April 2019. And a mere 5 days later, you joined MCCW. This is your life, if you've ever seen that. It's a very UK show. But anyway, and here is the mailman that delivers those cards. But reunited with you here today. And you bought 2 Dos Santos Black Cat sketches from me.
I enjoy his work.
Yes, for the grand sum of $50 for the 2. So
you keep good records. I don't keep any records.
No, to be honest with you, no. I'm looking at it on Messenger. It's go back to when you first communicated with me, and but yeah. So I consider myself blessed that some of my collection ended up in yours.
Nice.
In what I would say is probably its forever home. Do you ever? So, apart from the circumstance where you mentioned Norrin managed to finally pry one from your.
I'm such a prick. This is the worst thing ever. I sound like the worst person, which I am.
It's like you're kind of paying penance for something that wasn't.
I should be.
Brilliant. I love it. I love it.
It was multiple years, probably.
You know what, Jeff? You don't need to help. Okay. It was multiple years. It was 100% multiple years.
Goodness me. Do you? And I think we've kind of touched on this, but just I'm clear. You don't. I've never seen you sell anything. And apart,
if I sell stuff, it's my sports cards or. Actually, I did sell some sketch cards, which I regret back in the day, which were from 2007 Marvel Masterpieces, but they were ones I didn't at the time really care for. But that was the one and only time.
Right. Okay. Right.
Because I even pulled one that pretty much was like a blank, which I know was one of the scandals of the day if there were blanks pulled or not. But it pretty much was just a lightly drawn card. But I don't remember who the artist was at the time. But there were a few that the artist drew very faintly on the card, so they pretty much looked like blanks. But
wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember from the Scoundrel days, there were just certain scandals, and that was one of the numerous discussed topics where, were there blanks inserted in the packs and that kind of thing, but which I doubt that there were, but through my experience with, all the other cards that I've dealt with over the years, but I pretty much don't sell my sketch cards.
Yeah. And very rarely trade them away without a multiple year kind of
yes.
kind of courtship is probably the best way to phrase that.
I put a stipulation. Obviously, I needed this one card, and I'm like, I'll throw the dice. Like, if you could find me that, then I'll go for it. And that's what trading, I guess, is supposed to be about.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Usually,
exactly.
I mean, I'm glad you got it, and you had your pick too. Like, Letty was really nice. He was like, "It's between these two," and I told Jeff, I was like, what do you want?
So not only you didn't just show him one option, you showed him two.
I was like, you get what you want, man. I don't care anymore. Just end this torture and pain.
Oh my goodness me. So in all the so here's the question. So you've been in the game man and boy, and you've seen a lot of different elements of the hobby come and go, card companies rise and fall, trends. Obviously a lot of that's from the sports side, but what's the kind of biggest takeaways you have of kind of the hobby now as opposed to how it's changed over the years, or anything that's coming back that used to be there that went away? Or I'm just curious to kind of see your viewpoint on that.
Well, one of the trends that's happening, which I'm not really a big fan of the e-pack thing. Personally, I feel that's just a gigantic money grab by Upper Deck. But on the other hand, it's, people enjoy it and have fun, except for Pack Wars, I guess people aren't having fun.
Well, don't even get me started.
But they're taking half of their product out of the hands of the retailers or at least, I'm assuming at least half. And the price points have all gone up. Nowadays the box is pretty much a pack of cards. So I remember when there were 36 packs in 20 boxes in a case kind of a thing. Now it's, a case is literally like 6 packs sometimes, or, it's kind of crazy. But, right now the whole, graded card stuff is all insane, and prices, everything has just kind of gone insane. So, and e-commerce changed a lot of stuff. The internet changed a lot of stuff. eBay. But I enjoy the hobby in general. So
good.
A lot of stuff. I mean, so I'm interested because all those things have been happening, and they've been intense for a lot of us collectors who've been here for a while. Like even me, which I think has been. Like, I've been collecting cards, but like you guys are a little bit older than me, so I haven't been, not as long in the game as you guys. I still remember all that stuff, so it wasn't even that long ago. You know what I mean? Where all these things were happening. For the sports side, right? Because from what it looks like, and I'm not a sports guy. I'm 6'4" nothing. I'm just not a sports guy. Everything seems to be graded in the sports hobby, and the prices for sports cards is way more than where Marvel is, as even now climbing as it is. So was that like that in sports as well, that slow gradual thing, or did that just happen? I know it's a Marvel card thing, but it's related, you know what I mean? Because it feels like Marvel cards are catching up.
The true grading was only for vintage. That's where, to me, it really should still stay. But more people got their modern cards graded and just asking this insane prices for them. And there's people willing to pay this type of money. But this influx is also causing major problems with the grading companies. They're crazy backlogged, even shutting down acceptance of, new submissions, which is causing issues for other people. But, I don't. But I don't know. It's a heavy question. It's just strange to see so much all this stuff change so quickly. You know what I mean? And recently, this is just changed. In the last year,
18 months, if that.
18 months, crazy like that. Yeah, and people have been grading Marvel. That didn't just happen overnight, but the immediacy that came very quickly.
But to me, the high prices have only really occurred in the last few months. I don't really get what caused that, but instead of at the beginning of the pandemic, but just in the last few months, it's kind of gone super crazy. But
just a touch.
Just a touch.
Just a touch. I think it's fairly safe to say. I find it bizarre what I was reading in the news recently. Well, not in the news. I mean, it's not top headlines on the BBC. Let's be honest. But online about people pulling guns on people in Walmart parking lots, and so they're selling cards and things like that.
For the Target.
I mean, it's just, I just find it, I don't know. It's cards at the end of the day, but everyone's kind of losing their, on every, I've seen it in the NFL group in the UK. People just like, what's happening?
Well, pop culture stuff in general is all hot. Graded video games selling for record numbers. Comic books been selling for record prices. It's pretty insane just all around in the whole collectibles world.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, people pulling guns on each other in parking lots at Target. So over trading cards. They're chasing the money.
They are.
Yeah.
I mean, for all I know, people might have been pulling guns on each other in the car parks of Target for years. This is just the first time it's happened in relation to cards. So
first toilet paper, now cards. I get it.
Your toilet paper. Oh my goodness, yeah. It's weird. A year ago, it was a different type of paper product that people were going nuts for.
Yeah, it's true. I was just thinking about. I was like, oh my god, wasn't there all this drama with toilet paper? Oh man, just crazy. So Jeff, favorite set sketch card wise was MM07, right? And tied between X-Men Archive, about right?
I really love the set, all three of those sets by Marvel Master, the 7 set 1, 2, and 3. They're just amazing to me. The base sets of like set 3, I thought was kind of, they were kind of weird, but it's rehashing the same artwork and who knows. But and then Rittenhouse wise, it's the Fantastic Four and the X-Men Archives one. Those were my two. And then I also enjoyed the Spider-Man one, but there was a lot of competition with Spider-Man just in general. So there's hardcore collectors that are just all about Spider-Man. So in their whole.
Well, that was the one I dived in on.
Yes, because you like the Black Cat.
Well, that was the first set that came out after I discovered that Black Cat and sketch cards could go together, and it was game on.
I did enjoy the commissioning artist proofs from that set. That was one of my I really enjoyed commissioning the artist proofs from all the Rittenhouse sets. I like that oversized format and being able to what they could do on them.
So pretty.
Yeah. So like this was the first piece that I was able to acquire. It's by Brandon Kenny.
Oh yes.
This is the piece that started all for me with the interacting with the artists, and I didn't commission this. He had already drawn this piece, but then from that point on, I commissioned Perna on this one.
Damn it.
And this set, the big deal was the artist only got one artist proof. So so that was kind of a deal to be able to get,
you nailed it.
That's
Yeah. We can hear how amazing it is. It looks so good.
And then it
features Gambit and
Wolverine. One
Wolverine.
artist that I really liked was a man named Carlos Soriano.
Oh yes.
And and I commissioned the piece, and then he kind of lost track for a couple months, and then he poured water on it by accident. So it got ruined.
Goodness.
Yeah. But then luckily he hooked me up with I think it was an X-Men Archives artist proof instead to make up for it. But that one of one is damaged in a bin somewhere in a landfill. So,
you don't have to worry about it. Woo.
I really enjoyed the commissioning the artists.
Wow.
That was one of my passions. And then they get the money direct from me. Although then it's a catch-22 because you commission them, but then if they're on the next sets, then you kept getting pushed back when you get your card.
Yeah.
So, and then there's also the idea of when do you pay them? So there's the scandals if you pay them up front or in the middle of the deal or at the end. So I have 2 transactions that I'm multiple year waiting, for my product, but I'll probably never see the cards. But
I've heard those horror stories. That scares me.
Although I had one that went a decade.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
But you got it in the end.
I'm still owed things by that artist, but I'll probably never see that. So.
Wow. Well, tell us afterwards.
Yikes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Pin in that. There we go. Pin in that bit. There we
So
go.
when you get commissions, do you leave it up to the artist? Do you have an idea of what you want?
Most of the time it would be, I would just give them a character that I wanted, and I would just leave the magic up to them.
Beautiful.
To put it that way. I've never really been that big into kind of the art direction. Kind of, I want them, standing and pointing to the left, and that's never been my thing. I do know that there are people that do that. So pretty much it's just been. Oh, and there's a few times I just go surprise me. So like Dos Santos, I commissioned numerous times. So at certain points, I just go, just surprise me, So
That's cool.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that part. But
that's great, man. That's so much fun, dude. That's really cool. Yeah, I went back and forth. I remember doing commissions because when I first got in the game, there was no surfers to find, so I only had APs. Because they're locked up. So I did APs, and I originally was like, I kind of want this idea here, and then later, through trial and error, I realized I was like, you're commissioning the artist, man. If you have that much confidence in commissioning them, then you have to have that much confidence in letting them do their thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that came a little bit later because I was so excited. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh man, I want Surfer to do this. You know what I mean? Definitely not nitpicky at all. More just like general idea type of thing. But then later I was kind of like, you know what? I'm going with this artist. They can do whatever they want. I think the moment I did that was with Toma, and I was like,
I've never had the pleasure of commissioning him though.
You would love it. He's really nice. He's really cool, and he's working on sets right now. He's a really cool guy. He's a pleasure to work with, and I was just like, I want this or whatever, and just nailed it. You know what I mean? But I think that was when I did it for me too, and now you're the same way too, right, Ian?
Yeah, well, I don't. Most of my APs that I have from Rittenhouse are oversized ones, but they were already done. I don't have a lot. I think I probably have less than 10. But they're ones that were already done either by someone else or the artist had already done them. Because I'm kind of someone who buys. I kind of buy on site, if that makes sense. So I'll see something and I'll know I'll like it. So people always send me links to eBay listings for Black Cat sketches, and in a lot of cases I'm like, just I know it's Black Cat, but I don't like that. Do you see what I mean? Like, it just doesn't do it for me for whatever reason. So
yeah.
And Jeff, sounds like you're quite similar in that if it catches your eye and it ticks the boxes, you might not know what those boxes are.
Indeed.
But you need to own that sketch. For me, one of those boxes is obviously that Black Cat's in it, and ideally that she's got eyeballs. Beyond that.
Yeah, I know that's one of your peeves.
Yeah, I don't know. Which is bizarre because...
and the rule of 9, that's one of your pet peeves as well.
Yeah, I like it. It was one of these things I need to do is go through my binders and figure out what sets I might only have 7 sketches by, so I can get another 2 Black Cats to kind of fill it out. When I've got a bit of money, I'll do that. And the annoying ones are the ones where I go kind of 1 over because I've got to get another 8 now. Rather than think, I should probably get rid of 1. My first thought is, oh no, I need to get another 8. Which then you're in trouble. But
do you keep all your cards in binders, or do you?
Yes, no, I am. I keep them in binders. I've got oversized. Fortunately, most of my oversized APs came in top loaders that fit those, but I've got no idea what they're called or where you buy them, or even if you can still get them, because it's been a while. So yeah, I mean,
like this size.
Yeah, bit shorter on the top. They're more.
Whoa. Who did that?
Brian Kong.
You son of a...
Brian Kong is amazing. Jeff, we're going to need pictures of all these for the tasting notes, by the way. So, folks, if you're listening and you're wondering what we're oohing, ahhing, and reaching for the Kleenex for, it'll be on the tasting notes.
This one is the only one that I commissioned the cover for, and I racked my brain a bunch of times, and then I guess it's the cover of the graphic novel, or I think graphic novel by Sienkiewicz.
Yes.
He did an amazing job on this one. That's one of my favorites.
So good.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, we were talking earlier on. I really I had a light bulb moment earlier on when I was talking to Norrin that I actually do need to just get a cover recreation done.
I'm getting one. Yeah, we'll tell you more about it afterwards, Jeff.
Yeah.
We don't want to spoil a surprise, but yeah, I'm finally gonna get a cover. stupidly, I thought I would find the like one of the cover recreations that's already out there for Surfer, but I've given up. So I'm
this
just
one?
fishing it. Oh, son of a!
Okay, Infinity Gauntlet cover recreation. Is that Bronze Age?
Yes.
Yes.
It's by
Dan Bergeron.
Yes.
Amazing. Amazing. Norrin is picking himself up off the floor. This could be a good time for a little commercial break.
So mad.
We're going to talk about our intro.
I can't even look at
Norrin-
Jeff right now.
Norrin
I can't even look at him.
himself
I don't even want to look at him right now. Where is he? No. I love it, man. That's so great. So do you do only top loaders, Jeff?
I'm EDDE WAGNER. Oh, all right.
Well, most of my artist pieces I have in them, but I actually have too many that I just have a stack, unfortunately. So, yeah, the artist. This was one of my passions, getting the Rittenhouse artist proofs. But yeah, so I have too many to fill the top loaders. So, but I guess there's other alternatives. But right now, any of these supplies are that's another thing that's dried up.
Expensive.
You know, yeah,
PPE.
I have no idea what's caused that, but
It's the same raw materials as the PPE.
yeah,
Right. That's why, fundamentally. So,
yeah.
So anyway, Norrin, you are going to let me do this little interlude where we talk
I'm
about
so
EDDE
sorry.
WAGNER.
Did I mess
That's quite
something
all right.
up?
No,
I
that's
messed
quite all
something
right.
up.
That's
I'm so
quite all right, dear. We're going to go in, and then we can get back to our regular schedule round. So I'm going to share my screen so we can all look at the same thing at the same time. And we are going to look at EDDE WAGNER's Instagram. And you can find Eddie at instagram.com/EDDE WAGNER, which is EDDE WAGNER. EDDE WAGNER Aguirre Jr. Now, Eddie, I know from his work on Rittenhouse sets, and I didn't think he was still active in cards, but oh my goodness, he so is. So let's look at some of his. Oh my goodness, right? It's asking me to log into Instagram. Hold the line, cool. Norrin, can you do some hold music while I log into Instagram, please?
Do 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 do.
And we're back.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Let's look at his Black Diamond sketches.
Damn him.
Look at those.
Those look really good.
They're really nice. I love that Professor X bottom middle. And that Cosmic
you've been wanting to
Ghost
get that.
Rider as well.
You've been wanting to get that character. That's a really good one. I love that Ghost Rider.
Yeah. But look at this. Look at this. Right, here we go. Now this is an
Miss Marvel.
oversized Dangerous Divas AP by EDDE WAGNER of Jean Grey.
Nice.
Clearly been a commission. Look at
He's
that.
always been good.
Andre Toma is commenting on it.
Yeah, baby.
and getting into it. So yeah, Eddie's based in Brazil.
So it's Andre, yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, that's right. Toma. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. And look at that Marvel premiere.
Damn.
So look at the way he's done his hands. So what we're looking at, you'll see this, folks, if you go to Eddie's Instagram. The Marvel premiere, he's done Cyclops' hands kind of holding the top and bottom of the frame. So he's worked the frame into the image.
Who's reflecting in the visor?
Wolverine.
It's an enemy. It could be Omega Red.
I don't think so. There's claws on his hands.
Are they? Really?
Right above his right eye.
Yes. Okay, got it. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
That's
All
very
right.
creative. See, I
Very
appreciate
Crazy
that.
good.
Creativity in the cards. That's amazing.
It is incredible. Right, what's going to be next? Oh, Mystique. I've seen this one. Look at that Mystique.
I love Mystique.
See, now this one I find a shame because it got cut down. That's
Yeah, because you like him oversized.
Yes.
Yeah.
there's a Katie Cook out there that got cut down, and I found that it's just a shame to me, but it is what it is.
No,
What the hell's that?
no, it's a
What
Silver
the hell?
Surfer commission on
What the
Black
hell?
Diamond. Look at that.
That's not mine. Someone else did that. That looks great.
That is
Killer.
the nuts.
Killer.
That is absolutely incredible. Wow. Look at that Venom.
Just killer. This
This is
Eddie's
just
always
like
been good, though.
This
You know
is
what I mean?
just like
Eddie's
a
always been
walkthrough, really. Oh, Weapon X.
Yeah, Weapon X. On a Spider-Man archive artist
I
proof.
know.
Cut down.
What's going to be next?
unfortunately.
What's going to be next? Ooh, very nice. Oh, it's a little video. Look at this. You know what? His style really reminds me of Tony Perner's in this one. Something about it.
Yes.
He always does good work. You know, that's the thing about the older sketch cards that people don't understand either. Is like, you know, they weren't like, I think what Jeff said was brilliant. Then like the difference now being they're more art cards than sketch cards. I found that absolutely genius. Yeah. You know, but what you don't understand is that the older sketch cards, they were sketchy, but man, you got to see like the thought process, like the creative, like you could tell the greatness that is there.
Yeah.
It's been good. That Wolverine on Marvel Ages. So we're looking at Wolverine that has literal bullet holes in his head and neck on Marvel Ages. And it's AP. And it's brown suit Wolverine, which hopefully everybody on the call can agree is the best Wolverine.
I'm just going to nod because I'm not massively familiar with them.
Jeff gets it. He gets it. I think Wolverine brown costume, man, you can't top that. I'll probably get a.
You don't like the cat face one with like the whiskers kind of deal?
I don't know. Only when I'm feeling frisky.
Oh dear, which is most of the time.
That's fair.
That's just. I love this. It's just like scrolling through. What is this? Oh my goodness me. That's some of his homebrew stuff, I think.
That's good.
That's on his art blog.
If you spoke Portuguese, you could find out.
Yeah.
True. Google Translate, baby.
Well, the thing is, on the app, there is a translate button, but I'm looking at it through browser. So, you know, aside from me kind of doing that thing in the Matrix where they plug something in and they learn the language in 5 seconds, it's not going to happen. So we'll just keep scrolling through those parts. I'm loving this. So, guys, if you want to see... Oh, hello. She's rather lovely.
Of course.
No idea what it is of, but she's lovely. Hello. There we go. More Black Diamond. There we go. We'll end it on some Black Diamond because otherwise I'll go down a rabbit hole. Scroll through Joy. Go and see Eddie Wagner's Instagram feed. Link will be in the show notes. Eddie, thank you. I've got a couple of Black Cats by him, I think, from some of the earlier Rittenhouse sets. So he's been at it for quite a while, as it were.
Yes.
In terms, I have a feeling he went away and came back again. So I don't remember seeing him on kind of
I think he did go.
06, 08, Masterpiece 16, 18, yeah.
And Marvel 70th and Marvel Universe Series 2. I don't know which one was the last in that.
I think Series 2 was 2014, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he must have come back into work for Upper Deck maybe 5 years after last Rittenhouse.
I'm glad they brought him back.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's always been a killer.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing great, man. It looks good.
I love his stuff.
Really good.
I love his stuff. So, yeah, I imagine, well, like I said, he's just joined MCCW and he's already posted. So I can imagine he's probably, to be honest with you, let's face it, Matt Fuller's probably already got him booked up for the next 5 years.
So his master project.
Yeah.
His master project.
His never-ending master project.
Never-ending master project.
Well, Eddie's going to be on... Hey, Nicholas, come here, buddy. Sorry, my baby poodle. Hey, buddy, come here.
Dog on the show. Dog on the show.
Dog on the show. Say hi to everybody, buddy.
Did you want to say?
I think so. Hey, Buddha.
That noise you can hear, he is actually licking from his beard.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Eddie. Yeah. So Eddie's going to be on the set. It looks like he's on Black Diamond, and he's going to be on Marvel Premiere 2021. I'm assuming. I'm guessing.
Know. I think they were possibly Premiere 19. Those.
It might be 19 for sure, but I think he told me he's coming up.
Showing.
No. I think he's coming up on the next premiere, I think. So
good.
He mentioned something like that to me. So be excited, people, because that's going to be hella fun to see his sketches on those sets.
Okay, interesting. So thanks, Eddie. One of our new crop of intros from artists. And if you're an artist and you haven't done an intro for our podcast, email me. Email me.
It's going to catch on, Ian. Just keep promoting it.
I'll take another
email will be a thing of the past.
Have you guys interviewed Roy Cover?
Say again?
Yes.
Have you interviewed Roy Cover?
He's not yet. Not yet. No, I'm aware
Roy,
of it.
we got to get.
Yeah, his work is amazing.
It's pretty, yes. And I think he's new to the group as well.
Yeah, we joined a while ago, and I think he commented something. He said, "I'm not sure this group's for me," and I commented, "No." I said, "Nonsense, stick around," And then I think he came back in the last few days and had a little burst of posts.
Social media is hard on everybody, man.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I was only 20 when I started the groups, and that was 2 years ago. Now I'm in my late 40s. I had a full head of hair. So have you got any kind of goals at the moment that you're going after? I mean, obviously you've got your characters that you're kind of used to like, but now it's kind of what catches your eye. Have you got any sets you've got an eye on, or any artists that you've got an eye on, or where's your? Well,
I have a lot of eBay save searches. And I'm mostly looking for anything from the Rittenhouse or the early Upper Deck years. I'll let all the other people chase the brand new stuff pretty much, and I appreciate, the older sets. That's pretty much my deal. So, if a really nice piece comes along, I'll pick that up, kind of a thing. And I have long-term goals with, the X-Men Archives kind of master artist set type deal. One dream, which would be almost impossible to do, would be, for instance, the Fantastic Four just to have all Silver Surfer, for instance. I forget what. Norton's leaving the scene right now.
He's actually leaving the scene of the crime.
Yeah. I just wanted all Silver Surfer, just a small journey.
That's like almost impossible to do, kind of a thing. But so I'm pretty just on looking out for that mid range of the. That's my wheelhouse. The Rittenhouse and I really like also the Iron Man 2 set that Upper Deck did. There's a lot of good.
Great.
I appreciate the good inking, kind of the pencil work and then ink work.
Yeah,
I felt with some of the Rittenhouse stuff, they just went straight to the the markers and which is cool and all, but some of that artistry to me kind of went missing. I really enjoyed the good inked piece. So some of my favorite artists back when I collected comics were more of the inker kind of. So I like Mike Mignola. He was one of my favorites. But I liked his early pre-Hellboy kind of time. There was like the Rocket Raccoon mini series, or when he did a bunch of Hulk covers, or he was
a Silver Surfer cover.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? I had no idea, but it's the one where
all of any cover work that he did, I collected back in the day.
I'm pretty sure he did some early Marvel fanfare as well.
He
might be in Marvel
Hellboy set that he has a sketch card from, so I was very happy to get one of those. So that's one of my comic book idols that I was able to get.
Wow. That's awesome. I had no idea, Jeff. Congrats on that, man. That's a huge thing, man. That's awesome.
And then the one era of cards that I do regret not getting this, and I was very aware of them, was the whole Silver Age and the what's it called? Marvel Creators Collection.
Marvel Creators Collection.
Yeah. Like I really kick myself because I had many opportunities to get stuff from those years, but and obviously the Fleur Ultra Spider-Man.
The elusive Fleur Ultra Spider-Man.
They were like on a case or something back in the day.
Yeah, they weren't one a box. Yeah, they hadn't started that yet.
But so that time frame, I have a few pieces from. I had to chase down another deal in my collection is I kind of wanted like a Sienkiewicz. I was able to get a piece, or a Romita, or any of the bigger name artists. So I have like a small collection of Silver Age or the Marvel Creators Collection kind of thing.
Brilliant.
One of my grails I would love to get would be like an Art Adams. I know that he was on the 2007 Marvel Masterpieces, and there's actually one shared today. About the Dormammu, I think.
Oh yeah, I know who's. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of my grails if I could ever get one of his pieces. But,
that's crazy.
So here's a question. So I'll ask this to. It works better with a character actually, but not necessarily. So if you had a comic artist that's kind of either still active or was active kind of in the 90s or 80s or whatever your chosen golden period is, to do your character, who would it be?
Oh, well, I was a huge fan of Jim Lee's and work, and I also enjoyed Todd McFarlane's work. And then Mignola would also be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, I loved going to the artist alley at the San Diego Comic Con and having them draw on like I had like this autograph book. So I had like Ron Lim and Romita and whatnot to, signing them. But yeah, Jim Lee would be probably my top one. But
I wish, man. I've tried so hard to get a commission from like the one I was able to do, which I think I showed you, Jeff. I think I showed you. So this might be old news, but like I was a huge fan of the series Silver Surfer Requiem, and the person who was on that set was the artist is oh my gosh, slipping my brain now. Holy hell. It's really slipping my brain. That's embarrassing. Who is this guy? He also worked on the Thor stuff. Esad Ribrick. That's right. And I got this from him.
Ah, very nice.
I know he wasn't on the set, but I fell in love with that comic book series, and I was able to find a blank. But just just like getting some of these artists who are just like you admire their work, like Mike and everything like that. You know what I mean? I find that so amazing to be able to like get a commission if you can swing it or whatever. But I would love to see those guys on the sets, and I think that's a misfire. I think we should have another Marvel Creators Collection come back.
Oh yes.
I would lose my mind over that. I think that would be a hell of a way to go. That'd be great.
Unfortunately, the price point would be probably prohibitive.
Well,
just a little, a lot of eBay hunting.
I would have to go if in this mythical set or in this mythical blank that I was able to give them. I've got 3. Chris Bacalo. I'd love a little black cat from him.
He's great.
Let's keep it to Masterpieces 07 stock, just to keep it nice and simple. Okay. Second one, I'd like an Alex Maleev.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love a black cat by him. And the third one would be, oh my goodness, the third one's gone out of my head, Mark Bagley.
Bagley. Yeah.
Got to get a Bagley.
Bagley's working on sketch cards. Hasn't he done one? Or two? Didn't he? What am I thinking of? Maybe, no, I'm thinking of something else, I'm sure.
No, you're thinking of, yeah. He's done a set, but I don't think he's done sketch cards.
No, maybe not. Maybe I just saw a piece from him and it was smaller. Maybe like on Comic Art Fans or something.
I have one piece by Maleev, an Electra from 2008 Series 2.
Oh.
Yeah. That one I was... See, those are the types of buys that... This was on eBay back in the day, but the people... There's like unknown artists.
Oh.
I was able to... and you get those type of, purchases pretty cheap sometimes. He only did 10 pieces that year.
Wow.
I don't know how to share that one. Is there a way to share your screen?
I think you can. Just fire it over to us afterwards, and we'll
do
on the show notes.
That's crazy, Jeff. I had no idea. That's amazing. Yeah, that's the other thing. I wish I knew more about the artist list for that 07 list. I know that's kept as like a big secret because, it's hard to like figure out the numbers, and the people who are doing that master set keep that kind of locked up.
My main source was Scoundrel for that.
I think it's still live, the artist
ever-growing list.
Yeah.
Debate if they were on the set or not, or how many pieces they did, that kind of thing.
I'm gonna have to check it out. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of the visuals on that site have gone because they, back in the day,
evil
people
photo
used
bucket.
Photo bucket, yeah, and of course,
They
photo
destroyed it. It's all their fault.
Yeah,
Because they want money.
Bucket.
Yeah,
Bastards.
You have to pay them. That just ruined that site because everybody posted their stuff on there.
Yeah, I remember the days of free photo bucket. Now look what happened. Now look at it. But no, I think a lot of that's still there because I remember seeing discussions about it back in the day as well.
I'll have to look it up.
I mean, one of my big pet things is in Masterpieces, back to those writer autos, because that's my obsession on Masterpieces 2008. Series 3. 25 of them came out, but 27 of them were. It's because it was supposed to follow the 9 card per page.
Yes.
And there's 2 that apparently you can actually find a post on Scoundrel where someone reported that someone else had seen the blanks, but of course, this is so long ago, and the only reference to it, and one of them I think is Brian Michael Bendis was supposed to be one of them, and the other one was supposed to be Warren Ellis. And those types.
Are they hard signed or are they sticker autoed?
They're sticker autos, but they're lovely cards. They're really nice cards.
They're really pretty. Yeah, the Silver Age ones were the on-card stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a Sal Buscemi you just held up. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, sorry. Yes,
yeah.
That's the John.
I've got a couple of those. I've also got a couple of Creators Collection did a lot of good ones as well. So, for example, you've got much more contemporary people like Dave DeVries has got a Creators Collection auto,
and that's on card. I don't think that's
on card.
sticker.
Yeah. Peter David's got one because I've got that one. God, who else? Loads of people who are very contemporary to that time. Which is why I really dug the Creator Corner autos in Marvel Annual.
They look good.
I mean, they're sticker, but they're just nice to have those creators, kind of, contemporary creators on there. So it'd be nice to get some contemporary artists doing some sketch cards, even if they're incentives or limiteds, because let's face it, they were limited back in 07, 10 cards for, Malieve, 2 for Sienkiewicz, or however many it was.
Something to be done about that, for sure.
Yeah. Just pay them what they need.
Yep.
And I'm sure we'd all be queuing up for that one, wouldn't we, Jeff?
Yes.
Yes.
So what got you to only collect Black Cat, or do you enjoy any other characters? Or?
Oh, yeah, I enjoy them, but I don't feel a need to own them. I think there's maybe been. I think I pulled a Gwen Stacy on Fleer Ultra Spider-Man 2017 on E-Pack by one of the Ratchos. Might have been Ray Ratcho.
There's a handful of them.
Yeah, there's so many of the Ratchos. Every time I look, there's a new one. And that was so good, I almost decided to keep it. It wasn't a Spider-Gwen. It was actually a Gwen Stacy, and it was just so lovely. But no, apart from brief kind of musings since, I've never really felt the need to collect any others. So I remember, I think I busted a case of Dangerous Divas back in the day. And I think it was 12. Was it 12 boxes? I think it was 12 boxes a case. And you get one case. You get one sketch per box, of course. And I think I only pulled one Black Cat, and I was so annoyed. Because there were so many cats in that series. And I very, very quickly offloaded all the others. So, I didn't feel any need to own them at all.
Actually, in all the Fantastic Four, I opened numerous cases, and I never pulled a Silver Surfer card.
Oh, wow.
Really?
7-8 cases of that product, and I never pulled one.
See, I'm just not lucky.
I think the odds are you would get one, but not for me.
No, see, I'm the same way. Like, that's why I don't do boxes, man. It's not really that I don't want to. I mean, hell, I'd love to open up some boxes and cards, because I love cards in general, and I love sketch cards. But, man, I just do not have that kind of luck at all. I know some people pull out bangers all the time. I just don't. It's just never happened. Like, for me, kind of like with you, it's all eBay hunting. Like, if it's not, like, that's the only way I get my cards is through hunting on eBay and finding out where people live. But other than that, it's usually that's it. But that's it, though. You know what I mean? That's it. I'm the same way. I don't know. I'm impressed you pulled a Black Cat sketch card. When Surfer comes back, I'll try. Like, if there's ever like a Fantastic Four product or something Surfer or Cosmic related, I'll buy a case and give it a shot for fun. But
can I just let you know something else? That Black Cat, I hated it.
See, I'm really picky too.
I didn't care for it at all. But no, it was an anti-banger. What is this thing with hits being called bangers now? Where did that come from?
It's from the young kids. I don't know. It's from the younger kids.
Youths.
The youths. They're so misguided.
Yeah, those young people, unlike us with grey hair in our beards, eh, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
I got great. Hey, it's there. All right, don't exclude me. There's some gray hair there.
Yeah,
there's like a fleck or two. Okay. I got hair on my chest. Thank you very much. I don't need this.
But listen, the lower the grey goes, the older you are. Anyway, on that note. On that note,
see what you got yourself into, Jeff. I'm so sorry.
We should probably try to steer this Zeppelin into land, shouldn't we? Jeff, I love your collection. Thank you for sharing it with us on an almost daily basis, actually.
Seriously, thank you so much, man.
Even if you did
really
one a day,
awesome.
Even if you did one a day, because I know sometimes you splurge and go mad, but even if you did one a day, I have a feeling we'd be here till about 2040 with the volume of good sketches that you've got. So please keep going. Love it. You know, a black hole collector. You know, I love people. But thank you on behalf of us who are black hole collectors. You know, for at least being willing to show. I mean, it's not a completely public group. You know, people have to apply to join, so it is a closed user group. But thank you for sharing it, and you know, for the 2,000 plus members that are there, it's cool to see. So long may your collection continue to grow and flourish, and not have grey hairs.
Not have grey hairs.
Not have grey hairs. Marvelous. But Jeff, you know, it's that time. It's that time that I warned you about at the top of the show. You know what to say.
Enjoy collecting.
Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. Visuals and tasting notes for each episode can be found on our Facebook page. You can subscribe and leave us a voicemail via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Please take a second to subscribe, like, and review our show wherever you get your podcasts. Our podcast can be found by Googling @the MCC Pod, which will also find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Our Facebook community is at MCCW, Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide, and MMC, Marvel Masterpieces Collectors. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists, and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby but a fun one. Make mine Marvel and enjoy collecting.